Hey everybody, it is Kendall Anisha, your fave life coach, the remix coach, and you are watching Remixing Relationships, where we dive deep into promoting healthy relationships. Get on your swim caps because we're going to dive deep. Put on your construction boots because we may be stepping on our toes. And I said our toes because we are all in this together. This is a safe place where couples can come on, singles can come on, and anybody who can listen by the sound of our voice. It's to help promote positive and healthy relationships. Because what's the point of having a relationship if it is not healthy? All right. So last week, we talked about a lot of things with the Whites. Vinique and James White came on last week, part one, and they talked about in sickness and in health. There were a lot of things plaguing Vinique's health, and then she got to see what that was like because James flatlined. If you want to know more about that, definitely watch part one. I got so much great feedback saying it was powerful. They've been through a lot. God is good. God has kept them. They talked about things like this is the first time they've had their own apartment together. They've talked about what it was like when James saw Vinique having a heart attack, vice versa, when Vinique was there when James flatlined. They also talked about their love and how they met. He is a little person. And she was like, I don't know about that. And now he stands 10 feet tall to her. I love the fact that emotions were shared by James and seeing a black man cry. They're real. They emote the same way. So I love that he was safe to do that. And you could see their love off the screen, right? I've been around them multiple times in person, and it is the same. They talked about how they play and how they talk to each other. I'm like, why y'all do that? That is their love language. So I am going to introduce you guys. So today is going to be just as powerful, even more powerful. Vinique said something as we were ending, and I was like, oh, we definitely need a part two. She said, I didn't bring nothing to the table, nothing to the table, right? So the topic of this is I bring nothing to the table. Society has ingrained in us that relationships are about what you can offer, whether it's a financial stability, domestic skills, or even emotional labor. And then, of course, tangible things. But what happens when someone enters a relationship with what feels like nothing? Does that mean they're unworthy of love? Tonight, we are remixing that narrative. Y'all ready for the white, y'all? All right, let's welcome. Let's see where they are. Are they up there? Are they up there? Is they up there? The white. So we got, like I said, it was so much. People were like, wow, they've been through a lot. And you think about Vinique and her health, and she's still here. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to the whites. Let me see. Is James there? Let me see. I see Vinique. All right, y'all. And if you watched last week, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for commenting. Please do the same live because it's important to get your feedback and conversations. Hey, Basine. I'm glad I got to hug you yesterday. All right. They look like they're getting prepared. I don't see James right there. Think about it. When you go through social media and people are talking about bringing stuff to the table. Some people said, look, I done bought the table. I done bought everything on the table. And that's just what it is. So somebody else going to have to bring something to the table because that's what we got to do, or build the table on their own. So let's think about that. If you build the table on your own, what does that look like? So we're going to have them on. But before I have them on, I have to tell you guys, March is still Colon Cancer Awareness Month. You see my ribbon. Can you see it? Let me move the mic. You see it? Colon Cancer Awareness Month. And today is a special day. Today we are recording this live on March 24th, 2025. And this is the day 4 years ago that the doctor said that I was cancer free. They removed all the cancer from my body. So this is a cancerversary, and the color is blue. So that's why I have blue on the whites.
All right. Last week we were on here and we talked about a few things. And by popular demand, we were asked to bring it back for part two because there were some things that I had shared just before we got off. And we were asked to bring it back. So a week later, we are back here to share our story, share our love, share our journey on not bringing nothing to the table and continuing with the health journey. Mm-hmm. So that's what we will be talking about on today. There she go.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I wanted you to have the floor. All right, y'all. So welcome back. How y'all doing?
Great. Great. Whew. Except for my foot.
Y'all switch
But
sides.
other than that,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. But y'all switch sides. James was on the other side last time and you was on that side.
well, we switched sides because we had to come in. For some reason, our internet was acting up. So we had to bring it from the dining room into the bedroom. So now we have the computer in the bedroom where the router is so it can connect without breaking up because we was really losing you in the dining room. We didn't realize that last week. That's why it was doing that.
Okay, but now y'all look at y'all crystal clear.
Yes.
So
To
all
God be
right.
the glory.
So tell me what you thought about last week's show. We're gonna start there and we just gonna move right through it.
Well, we were asked a lot of questions last week about our journey and why James decided to start off the way he started off with being
Mm-hmm.
Going in full blow with taking care of me
Mm-hmm.
before he even said I do. And I don't know what his answer
Mm-hmm.
was because he didn't tell me, but it was very interesting. It actually woke us up and made us really realize what we have been through and what God has taken us through and getting us prepared for each other and prepared for what he had in store for us.
Yes. So let's ask James that question. Live. So James, a lot of people wanted to know, like before you even married her, right? You came in service mode, being of service. And that's something that when you're in a relationship, you do have to be of service to one another, especially in a marriage. So when you
Mhm.
came in, were you nervous about all the things and all the ailments that were happening because you came in just handling things? So the people want to know, as Vinique said, why did you come in just doing that? And how did you know that you talked last week that God told you that that was your wife, but how did you know what to do? And why did you do it?
Well, for me, I'm not getting no younger. I'm I'm basically 5 years from 60. And back then I said, it's just time. It's just my time to settle down and God give me the right person, and He did that. So with going saying, okay, I said, you gave me a wife. This is it. No turning back. No start overs. I mean, he had it all written down for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I followed through. But you know, marriage is not easy. For first of all, and it's going to come. It's not going to be peaches and cream. It's going to be a lot of uh, how should I say, spoiled fruit. But when it
Mm,
comes with spoiled fruit, you take out the bad and you keep the good, and you keep preserving it, and you take it day by day, and you keep connected with prayer. But on our turn, I just thank God for giving me her, because it could have been different if it wasn't for her, and if I didn't obey the command that God had given me. Who knows? I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't be seeing you, and yeah, a lot of things.
Mm, that's powerful. That's
Mm-hmm.
powerful. What James said, I don't know if y'all caught that. He wouldn't be where he is. He and I would have never met because we met at a couple's um I guess conference, or if you will. But the
Retreat.
thing is, he's
Retreat.
saying
It
that
was like a
if
retreat
he had
cookout.
never,
Yeah.
yeah, like a retreat, he said if he would have never been obedient to what God said, he doesn't even know what his life would look like or if he would still be here. That's powerful when it comes to being obedient to what God is telling you. So, Vinique, so did you ever question, like people were saying, well, why are you doing all of this? We just met. I don't even know if I want to be with you yet. Why are you sticking and staying?
Well, actually, I did, but I didn't say anything to him. Um, I literally thought that, why are you doing all this? But like he said, God told him who I was to him, even though I didn't know that. He did. And I knew that the previous relationships that I had been in, I don't believe that anyone would have done that or wouldn't have went to that extreme. I'll put it that way. Went to that extreme of what James did. There may have been a few, but I don't know because self sabotage. I got rid of them. So I know my health issues. I know my health challenges. I know I can be stubborn as a bull. So for James to actually stick in there, deal with my attitude, deal with the children, and well, they were young adults then, and deal with them and call them his own. That took a part of me. It literally it opened me up like wow,
So let's talk about that for a
like
second because
okay,
we didn't
so
talk about that. It was a blended family. So let's talk about that and let the
mhm.
people, Vinique, you had children when you were coming in. James, did you have children when you were coming in? Let's talk about that part.
Mm-hmm.
I thought so.
James has two girls. I have one of each. James had one grandson at the time. I had
Mm-hmm.
none. So I came in being a grandmother, didn't know what that felt like because I didn't, my kids, they were close to his kids' age, but I didn't have any. So now that we've been married, going on 6 years, well, yeah, going on 6 years, we now have nine. And I'm like, where did the time go? Where did the time go? We have eight biologically, but we have one adopted grandbaby. And it's like, wow, I went from one because of you to having nine.
Wow. In
And it,
6 years,
it, it kind
somebody
of
was
baffled
busy.
me. And I was like, I was, woo.
Wasn't
Yes.
us.
Well, of course it wasn't us.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah,
Well,
so
yeah.
everybody has two children or one. So it's,
Wow.
and one has
Was
three.
that
Whew.
an adjustment with the, even though they were young adults, because oftentimes when a new woman or a new man and everything happens so fast, how did your kids respond to James coming in just handling it? And James, how did your children respond to, like, wait a minute, you just met this lady?
You
Go
go.
ahead. Okay, well, well, I can say with my two, uh, baby girl actually started calling him dad. Didn't tell her, it was like that's my dad. You with my mom, that's my dad,
Wow.
and
And
we
how
just
old was
went with the
she?
flow.
How old was she?
She was 17, 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Yeah, she was almost finished school when him and I got fully together. And baby boy is not too far behind her. And actually, it's funny. Both of our youngest are the same age; they're just months apart.
Wow.
So yeah, so they're the same age. One is in September, and baby girl is in November.
Mhm.
So they're
Wow.
literally a month apart.
Wow.
But he was okay. All he could say was take care of my mom. Don't make me have to get
Yeah.
you. Take care of my mom.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. And James, how did your children respond since you came in like going into this mode where you were a caregiver and you being of service and this wasn't your wife yet? Did your kids say like, "Wait a minute."
Well, with my oldest, with her having her son and working two jobs, you know, and taking care of her mother, she wasn't around much, but at times, she asks about her, and when we have gatherings, she talks to her and things of that sort, and she slowly, just gradually came into the light. But with
Mhm.
my youngest, it was like this. They
Mhm.
became,
Mm.
yeah, and and she started calling her mom, and she was the bridesmaid in our
Wow.
wedding, and it was just totally emotional for her because when she got up there and said a speech, she broke down and had everybody crying, and
Your daughter?
yes,
Wow.
and she was another one that said, take care of my dad. It's
Mhm.
amazing that the
Mhm.
both of the youngest ones said, take care of our parents because
Mm.
just to be there for each other.
Yes, that's so important. I mean, that's so important that family, even when your kids grow up and they're grown or nearly grown, to have that because
Hmm.
nobody wants to be pulled apart. You want to be able to be together and experience times together and not feel isolated or separated because you're blending and beginning a new family. So I love to hear that. So Vinique, okay, the reason why we did a part 2 is because we were ending and you said what?
I said I came to the table with nothing.
You came to the table with nothing. So, as we talked about earlier, right? As I said in the intro, society has ingrained in us that, you got to bring something to the table. What you bringing to the table? I'm not checking for you if you're not bringing nothing to the table. Does this mean that we're unworthy of love? Does this mean that no one else can love? Tonight, we're going to unpack all of that. So I just want to say this. So the last time we unpacked expectations around the people that's supposed to bring things to the table, the whites shared their journey of redefining partnership and understanding that love isn't just a transaction. We're going to go deep, y'all. All right. So I'm going to ask you this first. Why did you say that and what did you mean? And then I'm going to ask you this. Why do we put so much pressure on having something to offer before we believe we're worthy of love? But I want you to talk about why you said that because you kept it all the way real. And I appreciate that, your transparency and your honesty, because that's gonna bless somebody for real.
Well, because I did. I didn't. I When James and I met, I had, like I said, I had just gotten out of a previous marriage. Um, was homeless. Uh, with my daughter. Didn't have my son. My son's with their father. So I had her. We was in shelters. Only thing I had, and I wasn't working, so I didn't have a job. So only thing I had to bring to the table was food stamps, and that wasn't even a lot because I only had the one child. Uh, so that DC didn't give you a lot then, and I was working for a private person, so I got stipends. So it wasn't a full check. It was under the table. Um, so when he met me, I was staying with some friends, and actually I had just moved in with them
Hmm.
because I had left from where I was because my ex husband and I was staying with family. So we were living, on their couch, on their floor. So when him and I separated, I had nowhere to go. So a friend of mine said, well, since Rhonda's here, you might as well come here too. So I said, okay. And I went over there. And so when James and I met, that's where I was.
So
So
I
I
just
had
want to
nothing.
recap. So you were on your way out of your previous marriage. You were getting
Mm-hmm.
divorced, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even in that relationship, you didn't have a home. You were homeless and you were
Mm-hmm.
living on his family's couch or floor,
Mm-hmm.
wherever you can find, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about that, right, you were already feeling some type of way. Can you go back to that feeling? Like, what were you feeling? Were you feeling like you messed up? Were you feeling like I'm not worthy of love? Were you feeling like, God, what's going on? What were your feelings during that time? And my cousin just asked what we're talking about. We're talking to a couple here, and society says you have to bring something to the table. When these two met, they've been married 6 years. And when they met, she said she didn't bring anything to the table, but yet James still saw her worthy of love. So tell me what was going through your mind during that time.
I was depressed. I had already tried to commit suicide a few times because I felt I wasn't worthy. Um, and I felt like I was a burden on people. So I didn't want to be here anymore. Um, and when James came about and took me in the way he did, it kind of, I wouldn't say I was doing, I think I was still in the self sabotage mode where I didn't want to pull him down because he was bringing stuff to the table. Not he wasn't bringing much, but he still was bringing stuff to the table, and I had
Mm-hmm.
nothing. I had lint falling out my pockets, so it felt good knowing that everything that I had been through and everything that I had done, intentionally and unintentionally to people, that there was still somebody there who wanted to love me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how did that make you feel? Think about that. How did that make you feel that somebody came in and said, you know what? You're on the brink of like, God, why? What's going on? You didn't want to be here anymore. That relationship was not, your marriage was not working. You like,
I
well, wait a
felt
minute.
good.
And then this man comes in saying, God sent me. What was your response to that? Because I think that's so powerful. I don't know if everybody caught that.
My response to him was, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. And I asked him again, "Are you sure?" And he said yes. Just wait and see. And I said, "Okay."
So even with all of that, though, you were still hesitant because of his height, correct?
Actually, by then I had gotten over that. I was just hesitant of me being me
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
because I had low self esteem. I was belittling myself. I had PTSD. I
Mhm.
felt unworthy. Didn't know my self worth. So it was. I felt like I was being a burden on him, and I didn't want him to take on that burden because of how I felt. But he didn't
Yeah.
care.
So James, you didn't care. Why didn't you care? Because that's powerful. She said,
It's
"Listen, I didn't want to be here. I don't even have a home. I was living with my ex-husband's people. We're no longer together. We were living, so I don't have a home. Like I don't. She didn't even want to be here. You know what I mean? She was feeling unworthy of love.
Mhm.
And some people that would bring them closer, and some it would scare them away. But you weren't scared.
Mm-mm.
Why?
Because I was God sent, and He told me to take my time, take it one day at a time, minute by minute, hour by hour, and let me do the rest. I didn't rush, I didn't push, I just
Mm,
stood still and let God do his work.
Mm. That's deep. That's
And
deep.
like I said, she was sent to me by him. And when he gave me a command to say, all right, this is it. I'm gonna do this for you as long as you do this for me. And that's how the 5 years just where they are today.
Wow. So did you ever feel any pressure, like people talk about often, did you ever feel any pressure um and expectations that people had, either one of you? Like, this is not going to work, or the pressure of like, I don't have, you don't have. Did you guys feel the pressure of society? I know, when you have a strong foundation in God, but that flesh sometimes will come in. Did you guys have any doubts at all?
I did because there were people in my ear
Yes.
saying this and that and that and this, and it was like it was bombarding my brain, and I was like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Stop,
Mm-hmm.
stop. You can say what you can say. You can say what you can say, but God has the final say. And
Yeah.
if He said, it's His will, it's His word. So whatever y'all say it. But God, and that's the final say.
Yes. Yes. So if it's so interesting, because when people say, do you bring something to the table? And Vinique said, I had nothing to bring to the table. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if love isn't about what you bring to the table, right, but about
Mm-hmm.
who you are, what does it mean to show up fully in this relationship? Because Vinique didn't even have love to be, because forget about the tangible stuff, money,
Mm-hmm.
house, car, this, that, a place to, lay your head, place to cook. I didn't have nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But some people will say, well, I brought love to the table. She didn't
Mm-hmm.
even, she ran out of that. She didn't have none of that to give you. And I think that's so powerful, Vinique. And I'm so proud of you that you be straight up with it. And I think that's how we have to go into relationships. That's what this show is about. That's what it is about, remixing how we think, right? And how
Yep.
we do things to promote healthy relationships. But do you feel like, Vinique, you were seen in this relationship, even though you didn't have nothing to give? Did you feel like you were seen and heard and understood? Because he said he don't care what nobody said.
Yes. Be honest with you, it took a minute. I was torn because of the stuff that I've done in the past, and I even told James this. I'm the type of person that get hee ha ha in your face and be screaming behind your back, and you never know it. But I didn't feel that with James. I didn't feel like I had to be that person. I felt as though I can be me and love and not have to step out, not have to feel that emptiness that I was feeling. And I haven't
Mhm.
felt that emptiness.
Mhm.
So it felt good knowing that I was getting the true love in return and
Yeah.
not rattling the fence. Not I didn't have
Yeah.
to rattle the fence.
Yes. Because you said that, and I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You're saying like in past relationships, you would step out and maybe see somebody else if you felt like you weren't getting what you need or you weren't valued or seen. But
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time that you said, you know what? He's giving me exactly what I need. Did you feel like, because oftentimes people say relationships 50-50, they're lying. It's not. Because sometimes you might only have 10 to give, and that person is going to have to carry the weight of the 90. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
may be 50-50, sometimes 60-40, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
20-80, because somebody is always going to have more love to give in certain situations. It'll flip flop, but typically it's like that. And
Yeah, and that's what it was.
yes, and James, like how did you feel? Because you may not have been getting your needs met in whatever, emotional, mentally, physically, because she was tapped out.
Mm-hmm.
How were you able, and I think I know the answer, but how were you able to can you continue to love her back to life? Really?
Where she been, I've been as well. Been torn, scorned, and broken.
Mm,
And when it's like that, it's like a piece of paper. You tear it in half, and to make it whole, you put it back together.
mm,
So with her, with her, I ain't gonna say burdens, but with her barriers, I had the sort of the same, and we put them together and became as one. We talked about our issues, our problems,
mm,
and where to go from there.
mm.
So the ball kept rolling.
It kept
The ball,
rolling. That's deep.
the ball never stopped. Like almost like the wheels on the bus go round and round.
Yes.
Lord.
Yeah, and
Round
then
and round, round and round. The wheels
Look,
on
we
the bus
fucking two
go
teachers
round
in
and round. Oh, look, I'm
and
that one that's gonna join right in with you.
it
there.
don't stop. You know, so yeah, I'm just happy that you know to look back at these 5 years to say,
Almost 6. April's your anniversary.
wow,
6.
five. It's not six yet.
We going
We're
into
going into
6.
six,
We
right?
going into
But I'm
6.
saying, uh, yeah. So when that
So,
when that
mhm.
6 year comes, it's like, yeah, we made it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So did your kids watch part 1?
I believe I know Rhonda did.
What was the
I,
feedback you got?
all she could say was wow, ma. Because she's walked it with us part of the way. And so did Janaea. She's walked with us part of the way.
Mhm.
So the boy and the oldest girl, I'm not sure if they have watched it. I'm not sure if Janaea watched it, but I definitely know Rhonda did.
Yeah.
And she's the second oldest, and she was like, all she could say was "Wow, ma," because
Wow. And you got
she's
the
been there. She's been there with me through it all. So she
wow.
was just like baffled that I was being transparent, that I was opening up and talking about it,
Mhm.
and I felt as though talking about it can be good for your soul, but also good for somebody else, because it
Oh,
might be
100%.
somebody else that's going through it. Because I've learned that your tribulations are not for you; they're for somebody else. So
Mhm.
you
Yep.
may be going through something right now, but somebody may go through it 10 years from now,
Yep.
and they
That's
may
right.
see this and like, oh dang, if the whites can go through it, we can too. And
That's
that's the
right.
way I look at it. It's just a
That's
stepping stone for
you so
us
right.
to help somebody else.
Yeah.
You're so right. You're so
Because I
right.
used to be afraid to talk
Um,
about my story because
Mhm.
I didn't want anybody to look at me crazy.
you said a lot right there. And that's why so many people won't share their testimony because they don't understand it's not for them to have. It's to show what God has brought you through. And sharing your story gives you power, gives you freedom. It allows you to tell the truth and not somebody else tell what they think is the truth, right?
Hmm.
It's freeing when you share. Do you find that it is freeing? Because I believe so.
Yeah, it like I said, within this week's time, it has opened me up. I can't speak for James, but I know it's opened me up to the point where we were leaving little notes on the pillow or surprising him with flowers one day when he got off work. And I think it was the same day when your friend did the same thing and had surprised him with flowers. And he looked at me like, "What's these for?" And I was like, "Just because."
Mhm.
He was like, "Well," I said, "Just because. Think about everything that we have been through and everything that you have done for me." And I never really stopped to appreciate or to tell you
Mm,
thank you. I've thanked you, but not thanked you like this. And I want you to smell your flowers while you can.
you still here?
While you still here, I don't want to be bringing flowers and you in the casket or cremation or however you want to go, and you can't smell them because you're not here.
Mhm.
So I want you to smell them now.
How that make you feel, James?
Well, Vinique was the third person that ever gave me flowers in my life. First, my mother. My second oldest sister surprised me for my birthday when at my old job had me crying for hours. Someone even came and said, "Did somebody die?" I said, "No. Today's my birthday," and my sister surprised me with a 12 a dozen of roses,
Wow.
huge roses. And when Vinique uh, gave me them flowers last week, yeah, I was heartfelt because it
So,
brought back.
ladies, no, go ahead.
So it just brought back good memories that men can receive flowers as well, just because.
Men, ladies, listen. Men can receive flowers as well, just because. Now, some men, you may think, well, they don't care about no flowers. They
Mm-mm.
don't, and they may not. But it's the act, the fact that you may give flowers. They're gonna be like, huh, what? And they're gonna appreciate it. And like they said, they're gonna be able to smell it. Men are not that much different than us. Yes, we are from two different planets, as the book says,
Lord have mercy.
Venus and Mars.
Then Mars.
Excuse me. But we're more alike than different. I want to ask, and I love that. I love that, Vinique. I love that. And I love that that's just what you needed. Because you never know when you need flowers till you get the flowers. And you'd be like, I didn't know I needed those flowers. Because typically is the woman who gets the flowers, and most women love it. And most you hear men, I don't care about that. And they may not again. But if you get them, they're going to appreciate them.
Yeah.
That's what we're saying. All right. So I want to ask you about adapting through the life journey that you guys have had. Relationships, they are like this. You going through a lot, right? And you got to adapt to whatever someone is going through in the relationship. Whether it's life shifts, jobs, like you said, grandkids are born, health changes, dreams might change, new endeavors. I know you do paparazzi. Or how do you stay grounded when all of these things are happening? Because you just had something else major happen in your health wise, like today. How do you navigate all of that? Like, this is up, this is down, this is right, this is left. The navigation of a marriage, of a relationship. How do you do that when it no longer looks the same? Because it looks better now because you guys are in your first apartment. You haven't had apartment in years. And then when y'all got together, y'all didn't have an apartment. This is your
Mhm.
first apartment. Both of you, how does that, not ever, but I'm saying, and how long? How long has it been since you guys had your own apartment?
Well, I'm gonna say for me, own apartment, I go back to 2006.
So almost 20
2006,
years. So
almost
almost
20
20
years.
years.
I had my own 3-bedroom, 2-bath, washer and dryer in Suitland.
Now, somebody, Suitland, Maryland law. Now, somebody might say, well, what do you mean you didn't have your own apartment? Like, what did you do? Where did you live? Can you explain that to someone? Because they're going to ask that. Somebody, and not to judge, just to understand, because that's what we do. Like on TikTok, we listen and we don't judge, right?
Well, I've had rooms that I have rented from people. Their basements we have rented out, James and I together.
Mhm.
Then we both I went to live with my parents. He went into a shelter. Then we went
While you
back
were
and rented.
married, while you were married.
No, just before the year before the
Okay,
marriage.
got it. I just want to be clear. Okay.
Yeah, the year before the marriage, I was with my dad, and he went into the shelter. Then we got a room for rent. Somebody's basement had blocked off an area in the basement as a room, had made a wall, the whole nine, and had a door on it, and it was our room. And we stayed there for 3 years doing the marriage. We got married while we were in that room.
Yep.
Um, and then they wanted their basement back. Okay, that's fine. And a lady reached out to me from Craigslist and said that she had a room for rent in Fort Washington.
Yeah, Maryland.
And we went out to Fort Washington, Maryland, and stayed there for 3 years. And we was only supposed to be there a year, but God's grace, that pandemic happened, and we couldn't move because, well, we didn't know we were supposed to move. We thought we'd be there for a while. We didn't know that it was only a year program. And she told us we had extended our time. And I was grateful for being there the 3 years we had been there. So now we had 3 years there, 3 years here. And God opened up the door for the voucher to come through after 25 years that I had put my name on the voucher list when my
You talking
daughter.
about housing choice voucher?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. She was a baby when she was a baby, and I think I was pregnant with her brother when I put my name on the list. And every year I went up there or called or went online to update my information. And I had updated my information a year before. When the pandemic happened, I said, let me go check in and see where it is. But they couldn't tell me where it was. They just tell me I was still on there. So I said, okay. And then these papers come in. At the time the lady tells us we had to go, these papers came through. And I'm like, God, okay, baby, we got to get this done. It's got to be done. So then here my PTSD done kicked in. And I'm just like in overdrive. Like, we got to do this, and this. Because I don't want to lose this. We can't lose this. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Let's get it done. Let's get it done now.
Especially nowadays.
Yes. And we got it in. They gave it to us in 2023. And in 2024, they sent me an email saying, congratulations, you have been approved to get it. And I started shouting. And that very next month, the lady told us we had to go. And I said, okay, God.
Wow. So you didn't know she was going to tell you that?
No.
Wow. So what city are y'all in?
So we're back in the district. We're uptown.
Nice.
Uptown.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what was that like trying to pick the apartment? Because I did for years. I worked for a nonprofit in housing. People purchasing homes, and then I worked with other agencies who had the housing choice vouchers, and so I understand that whole world. Like, what was that like when you were apartment hunting and you knew that this would be your home together? Nobody banging on the door, like you were saying last week. Nobody banging on the door. Nobody loud talking. Nobody getting up early, staying too late. Like, y'all are free. What was that like looking for the place? And I saw the video on Facebook when y'all moved, like when y'all moved in or went through. So what was that like?
Well, for me, it was bittersweet. Because we had to go, and the length of time we had to go, we literally had not even 30 days to get out. And so I had to call my parents and ask them, could we stay for a couple of weeks? Because I didn't know how long. I first think I said 2 weeks. Then I know my dad got tired, and I was like, okay, Dad, I think it'll be 2 more weeks. And he gave me that look. I was like, look, and I'm trying, so please don't shoot me. I'm trying. And he laughed. He said, no, you good. I'm like, oh, okay. But I didn't want to outstay my welcome because I had been living with them before, so I didn't want to outstay my welcome. And then we both were there, so I was there with them. And
thank God for your parents.
Say again?
I was saying, thank God for your parents.
Yeah.
You figured it out.
And so July, we wanted to come in June, but the guy had to go through the inspection process. So because he had to go through the inspection process, it took a little longer. Because he said, excuse me, he said that there was supposed to be somebody to move in, but they decided not to take it. But he still had to go through the process again for me. Even though he had just passed inspection, he still had to go through the process for me. So he had me to call the people to let them know that I was the new candidate, and so they can kind of hurry up and push the paperwork through. But he still ended up failing because the smoke detectors wasn't electric; they were battery.
Yeah. So you had to go through all the preliminaries. So what was that day like when you actually moved in? All of that stuff is behind
Now I
you.
jumped across the floor. I literally dived onto the carpet. I said, "Thank God we got carpet, not hardwood floors," because I shot it. I came straight through this door behind James and shot it straight on the floor.
She sure did.
I didn't care
I
about the
love
pain because I had just came out of surgery. So I just had surgery. I didn't care. I just dived. I said, "It's my
what
floor."
number of surgery was that? Because if somebody didn't watch last week, look at her counting on her fingers. You gotta see part 2. So that was her
Wait a minute.
third surgery.
Wait a minute.
That was the surgery in the groin.
Right. But did you notice in April when I had my surgery during the time?
Yeah, because he still had his stuff going on. Right. He still had that thing on his neck.
Yeah, I had my neck surgery in April, and then come to find out she had hers during the time we had to move. And I'm like, wait a minute. I just had the surgery. I know we got to be out here at a certain time. I had to pack, move, and take my time. And everybody's like, "You need help?" I said, "Yeah, if you can," but I managed to do it basically myself because she just had surgery and she couldn't move nothing.
I'm just thinking about all the stuff y'all have been through in these almost 6 short years. All the stuff that you've been through. How do you make it to the next day? And that's real for somebody that's like, say it again.
God. God. Because if I had to do it with me being the person I am in my flesh, I would have tried to take my life again. I would have tried to do anything, but God is keeping me. God is keeping me rooted because I'm a type of person that I had someone tell me about a week or so ago that you are this. I called them. I said, my PTSD is kicking in overdrive. Oh my God, I need help. I need help. And I literally was in here eating up stuff because I was frustrated. And it wasn't with James. It was some other stuff trying to go back to school. And I had got frustrated because it wasn't going the way I wanted it to go. And I seemed like every time I thought I was hitting the hurdle going over it, a wall came. Every time I went over that hurdle, a wall came. And I was like, God, I can't do this. Oh, God. And they was like, no, it's okay. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And I said, I don't want to breathe. They said, nope, take a deep breath. It's okay. It's okay. You've been through worse than this. Just breathe. And I was like, okay.
Now we're talking about all of this stuff, and it's a lot. Anxiety starts kicking in. Like you said, you forget to breathe. And I do meditation practitioner, and breathing is such an underrated act, right? We know we breathe with God, God's will. We just breathe, right? But we don't think about our breaths. We don't think about breathing. But that is such a blessing, and it's such a gift to get through those times. Sometimes that's all you can do. So we've talked about surgeries, we've talked about flatlining, we've talked about heart attacks, we've talked about strokes, we've talked about everything. But Vinique, you also have diabetes.
Yes.
So today you had a procedure. You want to talk about that? Because there is somebody out there is watching. It's going to be 2 people, 3 people. Somebody's going to be out there watching, and they're going to be like, I have no idea how they handle this. And what, oh my goodness, all of this for one couple. Then you got somebody like, I totally get it. We dealing with a whole lot too. Our health, different things, we get it. Then you got the third person that's going to be like, I appreciate y'all sharing y'all story because it's enlightening, and insightful. And honest, where so many things are so fake. What happened today, Vinique and James?
So in 2023, we was in Fort Washington, and I was rushing to get dressed or do something, and I hit my toe on the bed, on the frame, and I saw the blood coming out. I had cracked the toenail,
I've
and I
done
saw
that.
the blood coming out, so I dapped it and forgot all about taking care of it. And I said, "Oh, my toenail." I said, "Okay, you know what? Just like a regular nail, it'll push itself out and it'll fall off." Well, mine didn't do that, being a diabetic. It pushed, but fungus grew in that crack, and the toenail started to turn. And every time I went to the doctors, they kept telling me, "Oh, it'll be all right. You know, it'll fall off." Well, it never fell
Oh, you
off,
mean it
and it
like
got
get hard
worse.
and turn, like you see
Mhm.
people's like it get hard. It got hard and turn. Got it.
Mine got hard, turned colors. It turned a grayish color, and it never fell off. It just kept getting thicker. And every time I would put a shoe on, it would hurt. I would put a sock on, it would hurt. If I rolled over in the bed, because I like to sleep on my stomach, I had to move my foot a certain way because the toenail was hurting. And last month, I went to this doctor, and she said, "Miss White," she said, "I'm going to take that toenail off." I said, "You're going to do what?" She said, "I'm going to take that toenail." I said, "You can't give me this medicine. You know, there's some cream that I was told that you can put on, or some pills I can take, and it would turn the color back to normal." She said, "Not yours."
Mm-mm.
She said, "Not yours. Yours is too far gone. Not
It's
yours.
a dead nail.
It's a dead nail." Yep. She said, "If we do that, then you're taking this medicine and you're going to affect your kidneys.
Mm-hmm.
So I would rather just take the toenail off, let a new one grow back on, and just put cream and wrap it up and soak it. That's it." I said, "Okay." She's supposed to did it on the 10th. And I was hesitant. I kept saying, "God, no, I don't want to take this toenail." And the lady ended up getting sick, the doctor. So she had her people call me, her nurses call me and say, "Miss White, she so and so is sick. Can we reschedule?" I said, "Oh, God, thank you." I said, "Because I wasn't ready." I said, "Because
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to do it that day." And I told her, "I'm not mentally ready. I can't. I'm not mentally ready." So the 10th came, she couldn't do it. She said, "Okay, she called me back that the 11th, and she said, "Miss White, can we do it on the 24th?" Oh, she said 25th.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Sure." Then she called me back 3 days later and said, "Can we push it to the 24th?" I said, "Okay." Now I'm still
So
trying to
now,
mentally get myself ready to take this
yeah,
toenail off. So now I have no toenail on my left toe.
it's just like you just never know what you're going to go through, and even when you get married or you have a relationship, right? You don't know what ebbs and flows are going to happen in a relationship. You don't know what's going to take place. And when you
Mm-hmm.
commit to love and you do your vows, right? And we talked about last week in sickness and in health, it's about fortitude and sticking and staying and being there through the good times and the bad times and not being fair weather. As we end, I just want to say what we learned tonight is that love isn't about what you bring to the table. It's about who you become together. The strongest relationships are built on transactions, but on trust, grace, love, support, and
Mm-hmm.
showing up for one another, being that bond that you have. Can you, as we end, can you inspire someone that may be going through a fraction of what you're going through and the relationship is fractured? What kind of hope can you give them? And now I'm gonna start with James and then go to Vinique.
You know, there's a saying, expect the unexpected, but when you expect it, be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Be prepared to pray on it, to lay on it,
Mm.
and let it go.
Pray
It's
on it, lay on
lay
it,
on
and let it go. If you're watching live of the playback, I need you to write pray on it, lay on it, and let it go in the comments, whether you're watching live or the playback.
um, you know, God gives us vision to see what's ahead of us. So that's why I said that meaning, because You know, you could be out there and something just happened unexpectedly
Mm-hmm.
because you never know what's to come. You can't predict the future. So if you if you see it, like I said, pray on it, lay on it, and let it go.
Pray, lay, and let it go. I like it. Thank you, Vinique. All right. What will you inspire someone? Pray. Thanks, babe. Pray on it, lay on it, and let it go.
I will piggyback off my husband. You never know what tomorrow may hold. You never know what the next minute may hold. So you need to take every minute, every moment, every second like it's your last. Because you can be here today and die today. You never know. Because you don't know what God has in store. He may be ready to call your number now. You don't know. Um, so I would say if you have someone that you are with and you don't know what the outcome is going to be, then what we did, well, what I did was write my pros and cons. What I liked about James and what I didn't like. And the pros outweighed the cons. Because he came in strong. He took time out of his schedule, being at work 8-9 hours, coming to patch me up and remove dressings and sterilize me, uh, pack me back up, so stitch me back in, and he did it for about 2 months. And then the heart attacks, he was there for that. The other open surgery on the stomach, he was there for that. Uh, I'm sorry, this is the fourth surgery.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the third surgery, he was there for that, and they both of them were in the same area. Um, and then today, he has to help me soak this toe and patch me back up and put the gauze and the red green tape back on this toe. So I thank God that that he listened the way he did.
Yes.
So if you have someone who says that they are here because God sent them, or they love you and they showing you that they love you, believe that they love you.
Absolutely.
If
That
they
action.
have the action with the words, then believe it. If they just saying they willingly, anybody can say I love you and not mean it. But if those actions are backing that word up, trust me, it's genuine. Well, it should be genuine. As long as they don't have an alternative motive, or they're trying to get something out of it, it should be genuine.
Yes. Yes. I just thank you all. I just want to say as I'm looking, just I just want to give words of encouragement, right? Those that are struggling with feeling inadequate, right? Feeling not worthy of love. As Vinique said, she was trying to check out. She didn't want to be on this earth anymore, right? She didn't feel like she was worthy of love. James or whoever. She was at her wits' end when it came to relationships, and she just wasn't checking for love. She checked out and wanted to totally check out. She didn't feel like she was worthy of James's love, but God, right? We're all worthy of love. Nobody is adequate when it comes to God, right? Because the love is going to come from God and it's going to come into you, and you're going to be able to do that. But it's so easy when somebody is loving you. It's so easy when someone is like, I'm not taking a no for an answer. I am going to love you back to life. And that's what James did with Vinique. And she gives him the same love in return. So him showing her love allowed her to love him. Catch that. Because sometimes you ain't there, both people. But his love and consistent and persistent love of her, and like she said, showing action. Now, how you loving on James now? And we gonna go.
Let's just say
Look at
I
James'
make
face.
sure he
Look at
has
James'
his lunch. I make sure his breakfast, now that I'm not working, his breakfast is ready for him. His lunch is ready for him. If we eat the night before, if he wants that for lunch, I make sure I put that to the side before we start eating. And I make sure the lunch is ready. And when he comes home, dinner is ready.
So you're a real housewife. You home all day doing it. That's right. If you home, when that's right. The man going out making the money, the least you can do is feed the man, right?
Yes.
And it's so funny, Mike. My pastor for this past yesterday's sermon in my church.
I'm so glad you didn't hear that.
Maybe I wasn't supposed to hear.
No, it's okay.
Oh God.
I wasn't supposed to hear. Did y'all
You
catch
said
that?
go out and work, and he said, yeah, she spends it.
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Like this is my pastor was saying yesterday in the service. He was like just talking about the fruit of the spirit, right? And kindness being one of them, and just talking about like make his plate. Like there's nothing wrong with that. And then fellas, if you there, make her plate. Like listening to society, like, oh my God, you making his plate. Like, I ain't got no problem. Like, what? Why can't I show love making a plate? Like, what is that going to take from me? Right. But so many people were thinking that. That's right. Go ahead and do that, because being in love and being married or relationship, it's service. Right. So I love that you guys, I don't know how this sound, but I love that y'all servicing each other. Y'all take that how y'all married. So take that how y'all want it.
Well, let's just say the doctor told him today he got to he needs to back away from the table. I guess being married to me, he don't gain a whole lot of weight. So he's overweight since I've been cooking and making sure his lunch and stuff is ready. Oh, God.
Child. So maybe give him half portions when you make his lunch.
A smaller portion.
Baby portions.
But I love y'all. Thank you so much. What last words that you want to leave? Last words from this show that you want to leave with people? Quick, fast. Something that you want to leave them that God put on your heart, and then we're gonna end it.
Just trust God in whatever you do. Put God first. When you put God first, everything trickles down from there. When you don't place God first, trust me, I know for experience, things will be chaotic in hell on earth.
All right, James.
Have faith, because faith will get you far.
He just dropping these little nuggets. Have faith, because faith will get you far. That sounds so plain and simple, but so powerful. You get what I'm saying?
We got to put that on the shirt.
If you're listening, have faith, and trust God. That's what they said. Have faith, trust God. They seen that she's still on the lay it, pray it. All right now. So if tonight's conversation touched you, please share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Don't forget to subscribe and follow for more remixing of love and life and everything in between. Don't forget tomorrow, Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. That is a live Bible study on here, verses, and my children's book. God thinks I'm special. That's Sunny. Ain't she cute?
No,
God,
Me too.
she's so cute. Look, y'all, she's so cute. I'm gonna just show you a little.
Oh, look at that smile. Them big old eyes.
She's so cute. Y'all can go to Amazon right now and get this for $12.99. Folks are sending it back with their kids, their grandkids, holding the book, and it's just filling my heart with joy. My great niece was holding it. It's just amazing. This is
I love those pictures of her and her brother holding your book.
Yes, it's so. I'm like, oh my goodness. Then another spiritual cousin, she sent one with her son. My girlfriend, because it's for one of my friends. Shout out to Vera if you're watching. We've been friends since I was in the 7th grade. She don't even have no grandchildren. Her daughter has a boyfriend, but she's not married yet. She bought them for her future grandkids. But it's also for the inner child. Like Vinique, if you had this, you got to start sometimes from scratch. Mm-hmm. God thinks I'm special. You were talking about taking yourself out of here. Sometimes even a child reminder, because it's the inner child that struggles often. You know what I'm saying? So just to know God thinks I'm special. And it's rhymey, it's cute. You'll see some little scripture. You'll just get the book. Please get the book. And make sure you review on Amazon. Please rate the book, because that encourages other people to buy it. God thinks I'm special. Her name is Sunny. I just love her. Look at her. And it's so colorful. It's so nice. So this is for everybody. That's it. That's all, y'all. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm definitely going to have
Appreciate
y'all back.
you.
Yay. So next week, y'all, tune in because I'm gonna have a few people on here and we're gonna be talking about what we learned. What is the biggest lesson we've learned from relationships, right? Because sometimes the lessons are the blessings. And that's
Yes,
how
they
we
are.
grow healthy relationships. Because them lessons, honey, they be blessings. You hear me? It's out if you want to take heed to those lessons and turn them into a blessing. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow for Bible study right here on my YouTube channel at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a different kind of live Bible study, building this community. And then next week on Remixing Relationships, we're going to be talking about the lessons. So we'll have people on talking about the lessons that we've learned from relationships. All right, y'all. I just want y'all to continue loving on each other. I'm talking to my couple and then some. Love on one another. Have hard conversations. Forgive.
Yes.
Have faith in the relationship and pray together, y'all. This is Candellanisha, your fave life coach, the remix coach for remixing relationships. It's never too late to remix your life or your love. Let's promote healthy relationships. God bless y'all.
God bless you. Bye,
y'all. Hopefully I see y'all soon.
Yes.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you're watching live, put some thumbs up. If you're watching the playback, let me know, #playback. Just put it in the comments, and whatever resonated with you, put that in the comments. And again, don't forget to share this out. We need to have healthy conversations circling the internet. If it blessed you, I guarantee you it'll bless someone else. God bless y'all. Peace.
God bless you.
God bless.